there has to be a sort of a sense of obsession with
Yeah,
what
oh,
it
it
is you do.
does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think obsession and success, they're cousins. So I think,
Mhm. I love that.
yeah.
Part of the Boundless Audio Podcast Network.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Artist Pivot Podcast. I am your host, Ayana Major Bay, and I happen to be an actor, voiceover artist, mentor, and world traveler. This is a bi-weekly show featuring conversations about pivots and life lessons from the perspective of artists, those who work in and around the arts, and arts educators. Everyone possesses the ability to pivot. You just have to be reminded sometimes, and that is what I am here to do. To stay up to date and in the know about merchandise, exclusive content, and how to support the show, please subscribe to the newsletter at ayanabay.com/podcast. That's AYANABEY.com/podcast. And there is a link in the show notes. We'll get to this week's episode after a word from our sponsors. Just to let you know, this is part one of the great conversation I had with Johnathan Lee Iverson. He has such a wealth of knowledge, we couldn't fit it all in one episode. Enjoy part one. All right, y'all. On today, I am so excited to say that joining me is Mr. Johnathan Lee Iverson. And just to give you a little background on him, the Ringmaster and Chairman of the Board of Omnium, a brand new circus, is an accomplished and history-making showman who has been privileged to grace the most coveted stages and arenas the world over. As a member of the Boys Choir of Harlem, he shared the spotlight with the likes of LL Cool J, Spike Lee, Lena Horne, Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, Luciano Pavarotti, Roberta Flack, my favorite, Placido Domingo, Tony Bennett, and scores of other luminaries in the world of entertainment. He's kept company with statesmen such as the late South African President Nelson Mandela, Secretary of State General Colin Powell, and 4 U.S. presidents, including Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, and William Jefferson Clinton. The youngest and first Black Ringmaster of the iconic Ringling Bros and Barnum Bailey, which he served until its closing in 2017, making him the last ringmaster in the 146-year history of the greatest show on earth, is renowned for his powerful voice and superstar presence, as well as being deemed one of Barbara Walters' 10 most fascinating people. But he is most proud of appearing as a question on Jeopardy twice. And he is currently now the Ringmaster of Circus Vargas. Y'all, welcome, Johnathan Lee Iverson. Hello.
I like that. I love it. Thank you so much. It's so kind of you.
Oh, you're so very welcome. So very welcome. Thank you for joining me today. And so my first question to you, which I love to ask everybody, if I texted you and said, Johnathan, how are you doing? How was your day? What's going on? But you could only reply in emojis only, what would you text me?
I likely text you like the blush, the blush emoji. It's funny. The older I get, I'm becoming more like my father. He had this line every time I would ask him, how you doing? I'm alive.
Oh,
I'm alive. And it's fun. It came out. It just keeps coming. And my kids pointed out to me. They were like, you always say that's it. And when they get into stuff, I'm like, you'll live. It's just like, I'm like, man, I'm like becoming him. So that's just me, I'm learning to take everything day by day. I don't really have anything to really be down about, even when things get, when circumstances aren't ideal. I just really, I have a habit now, and really thanks to my wife, because she's done a lot of work in her own self, where she's now, transferring it back to me, and I'm very impressed by it. But she, she's like, you look, I mean, just remember all of the other things we have monumental things to be grateful for that really outweigh the inconvenience. I mean, we make big old shadows out of the inconveniences, and I think that throws us off and it gets us distracted. And I think that's why we have to pray without ceasing and be grateful. And stop murmuring all the time. And I'm coming out of that, and I'm like, you know what? I need to really just remember. I mean, I have a lot of things going for me. And, the beauty about being in circus is I'm around extraordinary people all the time. Whether it's Circus Vargas or whether it's on Omnium. Omnium has this incredible world where it's introducing audiences also to artists of multi abilities. So I have a hard time using disable when you're talking about people who have been able to really transform their lives despite what seems like a disability, becoming almost superhuman. And so when you see people like that who literally could, whether they were born that way or whether they just, through by way of an accident or what have you, turn around and make something of themselves that is extraordinary. And that would be difficult even for a fully functioning, so to speak, human being to do. You kind of go, you know what? Shut up, man. I'm fully limbed.
Right.
I have my health. I'm in my right mind most of the time.